So all of you ladies watching, please put down the enemas. Save your hard-earned money before going out to buy those expensive juice cleanses, and hold off on drinking your herbal tea, and I will explain why. Today I want to talk about detoxifying your hormones. The term detox means to remove toxins, and I don't know if you can really remove toxins from your hormones. The dysregulation and imbalance of hormones is caused by many factors, which I want to go over with you today, and I think it's really important for us to address all of those triggers that dysregulate our hormones before we start trying things that might actually cause more harm, specifically the juice cleanse. I want to talk about that, but just keep watching and be patient with me as I go over a series of triggers and things you want to look into as you're trying to create some balance within your hormones. And when I talk about hormones, I'm talking about several main hormones, including insulin, which helps regulate blood sugar in our bodies, cortisol, a stress marker, a stress hormone, estrogen and progesterone and testosterone, the main sex hormones in our body, as well as thyroid, for example. So let's first talk about some key triggers. Number one being the food that you consume. This is a no-brainer, and I'm sure you've heard it many times, but sugar is a huge reason why we as women have so many issues within our body. Eating an increased amount of sugar causes a spike in insulin. Insulin helps regulate blood sugar, but when you have continuous spikes in insulin, for example, we then have the situation whereby it doesn't respond well enough to the sugar within our body. So therefore, we end up with prediabetes or diabetes. We have these hallmark signs, or the blood is showing signs that there's no regulation of blood glucose. So the insulin sensitivity goes down. We're no longer sensitive to our insulin, and the blood glucose ends up going up. So it's going to be important for us to read nutrition labels to figure out how much sugar is in our diet and in our food. A sweet treat every once in a while is good, but if we don't know how much we're consuming, then that's when it becomes a problem. The next thing that I want you to look at is the trans fat that's within your food. Not all fat is bad. There are healthy fats like avocado, a few seed oils, but not that many. There's research that shows seed oils and overconsumption may not be good for you. Typically, trans fat causes chronic inflammation, which leads to obesity. So if you don't understand how much trans fat you're consuming, again, look at those labels to figure out how much you're consuming. Another thing that I want you to look at are the simple carbs within your diet, specifically white bread, white rice, flour, white potatoes. They're all yummy, but they all cause problems. They have virtually no nutritional value, so think about alternatives that you want to consume, because the simple carbs end up turning into sugar, which then causes your insulin to spike. So think about slower digesting carbs, which make you fuller for longer, including those sweet potatoes. These are the complex carbs, that is, sweet potatoes, quinoa, brown rice, things of that nature. Also dairy, 80 to 90% of African American women, Caribbean, East Asian women can't digest dairy. So if we are lactose intolerant, it's going to be hard for us to digest and break down food, which then causes so many dysregulators or so many markers in the body that are hard for us when it comes to balancing our hormones. We get more stressed. We have more sugar imbalance, because a lot of the dairy, if you read some of the dairy that we're consuming, including yogurt, high sugar content, greater than 15 grams of sugar, even though it might have high protein, dairy milk, yogurt. I said yogurt. I'm saying yogurt again because I want to hit that home. So think of alternatives. Almond, soy, cashew milk, and yogurt, some things that might be beneficial for you. You want to think about alternatives that you can use within your diet. Another thing that I want you to do is to look into your meats, chicken, poultry, red meat, for example. I know it's hard to get organic, grass-fed, cage-free meat. It's very expensive. You want to make sure that you are going to balance effectively the meat that you're eating, organic versus non-organic. The thing is with meat and vegetables, for example, let's start with meat. There are a lot of hormones that are pumped into meat, chicken, and poultry to get these animals fat and fed fairly quickly to get them out on the market. Same thing with vegetables. They're sprayed with certain pesticides that we may not really understand how they impact the body. So it's going to be important. If you can't always buy organic, try and balance it out. I don't always buy organic, but I do try and balance out the inorganic versus the organic that I buy for myself and for my family. Moving on to the second thing I want to talk about is lack of movement and an increase in sedentary lifestyles of us women. One of the things that is important, and I spoke about this in one of my previous videos, is the importance of squatting and stretching and what benefits those play into having longevity and a very healthy body and a healthy lifestyle. As we get older, we are seeing a decline in estrogen. That is normal, that is natural, but know that estrogen receptors are all over our bodies, and it's necessary for cardiovascular health, for bone health, for muscle health, for brain health. So when we're not moving and making use of maintaining and building muscle for our bodies, we're finding that our hormones, specifically estrogen, is not able to meet us where we need to, or it's not able to, for example, get to the places that it needs to go. Now, there are alternatives for replacing estrogen, including soy-based products, phytoestrogens, isoflavones, but there are also menopausal hormone therapy, which I can talk about in another video. I've spoken about it before, which I will leave a link to the video. But specifically, let's address the physical aspects of moving and how it's better for us to move so that it helps balance out our hormones. The body will signal that we are using glucose, that we are exercising, we're moving muscle, so that insulin can be used properly. Estrogen and testosterone are going to be produced properly as much as it can. As we get older, I mentioned before, estrogen is going to decline. Testosterone typically remains the same. Studies are varied, but in postmenopausal women, for example, testosterone looks pretty much, I would say actually in perimenopausal to postmenopausal women, testosterone seems to be declined and then back on an increase and then levels out. I'll link the studies below so not to confuse anybody. But the main thing that I want to express is that science supports us moving our bodies and being physically active. It keeps weight down. It keeps our heart healthy. It keeps insulin regulated in a more proficient and efficient manner so that we're using the glucose appropriately within our body. So please consider increasing your daily activity of walking, biking, stretching, squatting, weightlifting, and doing other activities that will help you balance your hormones, regulate a lot of your hormones, and keep you healthy over the long haul. The third thing that I want to talk to you about is to look into the medications that you're taking. A lot of you self-medicate, and I understand if you have a headache or maybe an upset stomach, or you're using one of the common medications that are found in your medicine cabinet, make sure you check out my live video where I talk about this. But it's important to understand that any medication taken orally is going to bypass through the liver first. The liver is the main detoxifier in the body of anything taken orally. So if you're taking medication and you don't know how much you're supposed to take, so your dosing is off, or you have an underlying liver disease, or you've noticed that in the past your liver values or your liver lab tests are off, it's going to be important for you to address all of this first. So talk to your physician, your GP, your doctor, your nurse practitioner, your physician assistant to understand what might be going on with your liver. It's going to be hard for you to balance out hormones taking all these oral medications, food, whatever, if your liver is not even working properly. So please do yourself a favor and make sure that your liver is working well. It's going to be really important for you to understand that. And I say this a lot in my videos. You might be having underlying health conditions that you need to address first before piling on new things. So this is going to be one of the really important things for you to look into. Number 4th on the list, I want to talk about why you are eating fast food, fatty food, sugary food. Like, what's really going on that you're not able to eat healthily? Is it that you don't have time to prepare food, so you are constantly buying fast food, or you don't have access to food, good food, or you just don't I don't know, you just don't know that the food is not really good for you, which is possible, which is why I encourage you to read nutrition labels very well. But also think about doing certain things that can help you feel more full and eat better. Number one, watch your protein. Current data suggests 1 gram of protein for 1 pound of ideal body weight. So if you're 150 pounds, you're going to try to get in 150 grams of protein per day. It can be challenging for some people, so that's why you see people supplementing with protein powders, protein shakes, protein bars. Just be mindful of the calories of these things, but also think about eating your beans, legumes, leafy green vegetables. Also consider eating more low mercury fish, for example. Sardines are good, and they can be inexpensive, as well as egg whites, for example. And then also consider those meat products that I spoke about, the organic ones, if you can get those, the meat, the poultry, the chicken, turkey. Those are all good sources of protein that you're going to want to bulk up in your diet to help you. So protein helps you stay more full, it's healthy for you, and it helps you with your muscle mass, maintaining good muscle mass and your cardiovascular health. The second thing I'm going to ask you to also to consider is to increase your fiber. Now, increasing fiber, especially for women, not only helps regulate your gut and your digestive system, but it also keeps you full for longer so that you don't feel like you have to snack throughout the day. Snacks are a dangerous culprit, let me tell you. If you're not careful about the amount of snacks you eat, you can be way over your calorie count, your sugar intake. A lot of things, that you're not really aware of are causing havoc because of the snacks that you're eating. So try and look into eating more fibrous foods so that you can, again, remain full for the day and help regulate your digestive system and lower your blood glucose, for example. And again, look at those foods that are very good for you, the leafy green vegetables, sweet potatoes, legumes. You might want to try soy if you don't have symptoms of high estrogen, and I talk about that in the video here. All of these products contain vitamins and minerals that are necessary for cellular function, including magnesium, zinc, B vitamins. And then finally, try drinking water. Water has an indirect relationship to balancing our hormones. Water is a detoxifier of our system. It flushes out our system, but in response to working with the hormones, it helps our hormones balance because it supports the liver, the main detoxifier in our body. So if we don't consume enough water, we're not helping to support the liver do its main job in flushing out all of the toxins that enter our body. And these toxins come through food, medication, certain drinks that we're consuming. So it's going to be important for us to maintain water for cellular function, to help support liver detoxification. And water helps keep us from becoming thirsty. So it's really important for us to remain hydrated during the day. It's also good for skin health. So please consider what you're eating and how much you're eating, how you're moving, if you're moving at all, and what medications you might be taking that could be causing this dysregulation in your hormones, and as you attempt to detoxify your hormones or detoxify your body. Now, returning to my initial statement about juice cleanses. Juice cleanses are not all bad. You know what I'm saying? I've tried juice cleanses, 3-day, 5-day juice cleanses in the past. I haven't done it in over a year, and one of the things you need to be aware is that when you're doing a juice cleanse, you're removing the fiber from the juice and only consuming the juice, which is very sugary. So if you are prone to diabetes in your family, or you're prone to having high blood glucose and having a hard time with your insulin hormone, adding a juice cleanse to your routine is not going to be beneficial for you. It might actually cause things to get worse. And so that's what I mean by taking a step back and trying to understand exactly what's going on with your body. There are a lot of gimmicks out there. There are a lot of things we want to try, and I can't blame you for wanting to try it. I've tried things too. But please understand that looking at what we're currently doing is the first place to start. I do encourage you to write it all down, try and understand what you're going through, looking at everything in your life that might be causing the hormone imbalances in your life, and then go from there. I will provide several links in the description of this video below that can help you support you in your investigation and your journey. Let me know what you thought about this video. Be sure to subscribe, like, comment, and share. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.